Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet, voice you know with the news you trust studio, sponsored by Grain Equipment Company, where innovation meets execution, and also in part by Xyway brand fungicide, where you get an unfair advantage. Always read and follow label directions. I'm Dale Menyo. Let's take a look at today's Ag News. Hopefully you got just rain out of yesterday evening's event and no ice, but everywhere was probably a little bit different. Thanks to the Ohio soybean farmers, Grow Next Gen provides free STEM tools and connects students to high-tech ag careers. Learn more today at grownextgen.org. Also on the calendar, the Jackson County Regional Livestock Market will have a bred cow consignment sale this Friday at 6 p.m. JCRLM.com, your livestock authority. Well, most average retail fertilizer prices continue to be higher than last month during the first week of February, according to sellers surveyed by DTN. And for the second consecutive week, prices for two fertilizers were up considerably higher. The average retail price of urea during the first week of February was 7% higher than a month ago. Retail prices for 6 of the 8 major fertilizers were higher, with the price of 2 up significantly, which DTN designates anything 5% or more. Leading the pack was urea, compared with last month, 7% higher. Right behind it, though, was UAN 32, which was 6% more expensive. The price of 4 other fertilizers slightly higher than last month were DAP, 1034.0, anhydrous, and UAN 28. Prices for the remaining 2 fertilizers, MAP and potash, were down slightly from last month. In the University of Illinois Farm Doc daily report titled Tariff Threats and U.S. Fertilizer Imports, dated February 4th, agriculture economic staff examined possible tariffs on imports from Canada and Mexico and the effect they might have on fertilizer. Potassium would likely see the greatest price increase given the U.S.'s reliance on imports, according to the report. According to the Illinois production cost report, potash prices with a full pass-through of the 25% tariff could increase prices by more than $100 per ton for supplies sourced from Canada. While U.S. farmers are less reliant on imports of nitrogen fertilizers, tariffs could also lead to higher prices for those products, the report said. No significant impact on phosphorus fertilizer would be expected given the small reliance on imports and the negligible import levels from Canada, Mexico, and China, according to the report. 2 fertilizers are now higher in price compared to 1 year ago. DAP is 1% higher, while 1034.0 is 4% more expensive. The remaining 6 fertilizers are lower. MAP, urea, UAN 28, and UAN 32 are all 1% less expensive than a year ago. Anhydrous is 4% lower. Potash is 14% less expensive than last year. Today's weather brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Here's the forecast.
Times of clouds and sunshine for the balance of your Thursday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Quick forecast update for you here in Ohio. No major changes. We are dealing with cold air. That's going to be the thing that we have to deal with, honestly, every day for the next several weeks. It's January. I guess we should expect that, but the new year definitely bringing down some colder air out of Canada. Our next round of moisture here likely develops overnight tonight into tomorrow with a few flurries. Very, very minor on the precipitation side. And then late weekend into early next week, still looking at a major event trying to pass by mostly to the south. Potential for strong snows, heavy snows in central and southern parts of Ohio. I'm Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. Let's check in with this week's Ohio Soybean Update, brought to you by the Ohio Soybean Council and your soybean checkoff dollars at work. Here's Dusty Sonnenberg.
I'm joined today by Dr. Horacio Lopez-Nicora, OSU Extension soybean pathologist and nematologist, talking about downy mildew and the potential impact the disease can have on the soybean plant, in particular when that plant is used to raise seed beans.
Those yellow chlorotic spots can eventually turn brown and wrinkle those leaves and clearly affect photosynthetic area, right, of that leaf. And we can see that, very severe effect of downy mildew may reduce yield. There is very little evidence that this is a very important pathogen in terms of yield reduction. However, very severe presence and downy mildew effect on soybeans can also cause seed problems. It can also go to seed. And when we're raising beans for purposes of using those seeds, we will have to be careful and make sure that we choose a product that can really take care of the oomycetes and use that as a seed treatment, for example. Assuring that, when we plant a seed heavily infested with a pathogen that causes downy mildew, we at least don't start already with something in the field.
And this update brought to us by the Ohio Soybean Council and your Soybean Checkoff.
And thanks, Dusty. Let's continue our conversation about soybeans, but from another aspect. A major soybean research project, which collaborates with the University of Missouri, will shut down April 15th due to President Donald Trump's dismantling of funding to the U.S. Agency for International Development. The Soybean Innovation Lab, based at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, was formed in 2011 to provide researchers and organizations with the resources needed to advance soybean development. The lab is comprised of over 100 technical soybean experts from 24 countries, each representing a variety of institutions. The land-grant system will lose 19 innovation labs across 17 states, including Missouri. Missouri University has been involved in the Soybean Innovation Lab since 2013, said Kerry Clark, an MU researcher who leads the mechanization division for the lab. Clark said MU sector of the Soybean Innovation Lab research receives about $150,000 annually before losing the funding. As a part of the project, Missouri has been doing research on African soybean disease that would help Missouri farmers combat a disease that can decimate soybean crops. The research found diseases in African soybean crops that could be prevented in Missouri and abroad, Clark said. And I'm checking with the Ohio Soybean Council to see if they're involved in any projects that are or could be in the future affected by this funding freeze. Oil futures contract prices dropped Wednesday following reports from the Energy Information Administration and the American Petroleum Institute of a build in U.S. crude stocks for the week ended February the 7th. Now, the EIA said commercial crude oil inventories in the U.S. rose by 4.3 million barrels. The EIA data on commercial crude oil inventories was below the 9.043 million barrel draw for the same reference week reported by API on Tuesday, February 11th. API also reported commercial crude oil supply surged 9.043 million barrels in the week profiled, while supply at the Cushing, Oklahoma tank farm, the delivery point for the NYMEX WTI futures, added 407,000 barrels. EIA said gasoline stocks dropped by 3 million barrels week over week to reach 248.1 million barrels, which was higher than the 2.507 million barrel reported by API. Gasoline supplies were at 8.6 million barrels per day, 249,000 barrels per day higher than the previous week, and refinery utilization rates were 85%, above the 84.5% reported the prior week, despite some U.S. Gulf Coast refineries are undergoing seasonal planned maintenance. Stay tuned. I'll be back with more after this.
Morton Buildings is holding their annual Building Value Day sales event running now until the end of February. If you are looking to build, now's the time to lock in your building project and save. Join them for their open house Friday, February 21st, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday, February 22nd, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. at one of their Ohio construction centers, Caldwell, Kenton, Wilmington, or Worcester. For more information and to find your local office, visit mortonbuildings.com. Certain restrictions may apply. This offer is available on select building styles. Contact your local construction center for more details.
Here's farmer and businessman James Wood.
We farm about 3,500 acres. There's pipelines everywhere. The contractor working on my property did not have the lines located before he began work, and it resulted on a strike on a natural gas pipeline. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but it could have been much worse.
Never assume the location or depth of underground lines. Always call 811 or visit clickbeforeyoudig.com before you start work. A message from the Pipeline Operators for Ag Safety campaign.
Today's market analysis is brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company, excited to be building the newest state-of-the-art soybean crush facility in Upper Sandusky, Ohio. Call 574-566-2113 for information on soybean marketing to LDC. With today's analysis, here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets finishing mostly lower on Wednesday. The midweek trade was interesting in that we saw corn a little bit stronger. Old crop up 6 cents, new crop up 2 to 3. But we saw the soybean market fall flat on its face, down double digits. The wheat markets couldn't put much together either, although to be honest, it was only 1 to 3 lower on the wheats overall. Beans by far had the biggest problem on Wednesday. The soy complex moved lower on more rainfall in Argentina, Paraguay, southern Brazil. Large Chinese purchases of Argentine origin soybeans were the talking point on Wednesday. This should not be a surprise. What have I told you over the past few days? China in every day over the past 5 to 7 looking for Argentina soybeans. Yeah, they throw a few token offers at the U.S. every now and again, but they're buying Argentina, and so it came forward that maybe yesterday 5 to 7 cargoes of Argentine beans had been purchased in the prior few days. Large purchases from Argentina are said to be unusual at this point. Most likely this is a Chinese state trading operation, maybe Sinograin, testing the storability of Argentina supplies for China's reserve. Now, that was the big story yesterday and why beans really got hammered. But again, don't overlook the rain. 48-hour rainfall, so 2-day rainfall accumulations in Argentina, anywhere from 3/4 of an inch to almost 2 inches. Excess of a 1 inch favoring most of the drier areas of Santa Fe, Entre Rios. Cordoba also picking up good rains. This is going to back up what I've said all along, is the soybean crop in Argentina is not in as bad of shape as what the talking points were. That's why I feel that the big downturn on the USDA WASDE report on Tuesday was too much, and we're probably going to be seeing that Argentina crop come back. On the corn side, we did have a flash reported sale that was to unknown destinations. Did have one for beans as well, but the South American news overshadowed that. I'm Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. We'll look at the overnight figures after this. Farmers, crop consultants, and ag business leaders. The Conservation, Tillage, and Technology Conference is March 11th and 12th at Ohio Northern University in Ada. The theme is getting more from less. 4 concurrent sessions each day with 60 presenters. Registration today is $100 and includes exclusive access to videos of all sessions after April 15th. CCA and CLM credits included. Go to ctc.osu.edu for more information. Hi, this is Dale Menyo with the Ohio AgNet. For over 25 years, my truck has been running strong on biodiesel, reliable, high-performance fuel that keeps me on the road promoting agriculture. Every gallon helps power Ohio's economy, protect our environment, and support our hardworking soybean farmers. The best part? It works in any diesel engine. No modifications needed. Take it from me. Choose biodiesel and drive with purpose. Learn how at soyohio.org. Today's market's brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Overnight at the open, March corn up a half at $4.90 3/4. May up a half at $5.04 1/2. December new crop heading the other way, down a half a cent at $4.73. The March soybeans are up 2 3/4 at $10.30 1/2. May up 2 1/2 at $10.48 1/4. Then November new crop is unchanged at $10.44. In wheat, March 5.74 down 1/4 cent. July 5.98 1/4 down a half. September $6.11 1/2 and down 3/4 cent. Turning to livestock, February cattle $199.15 down 52. April down 27 at $195.72, and June unchanged at $191.37. February lean hogs, $89.45, up 72. April up $1.35, closing at $94.32. And May up $1.20 at $98.05. In feeder cattle, April up 27 at $265.25. The May up 7 cents at $263.75, and August up 12 cents at $266.20. Be sure to check out our website for the latest in the news, markets, and weather. Also, right above the weather, you can sign up for text messaging, and every day at 11 o'clock in the morning, it will send you the Midday Farm Show, complete with markets, news, and weather. Again, sign up for it on our website at ohioagnet.com. Also, check out the latest video on fungicide in the planting row. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dale Minio. This is the Ohio AgNet.